there's this thing called rock bottom. I don't know if the Cavs are close, but they have to at least be able to see rock bottom within their sights.
What are you showing, CC? What do you got going on?
Let me straighten up your paper because you need to get your thoughts together.
No. I don't need any paper for this.
We don't know. Get your thoughts together.
There were a lot of opportunities for this team to hit rock bottom. The 148 they gave up when they lost to the second team for the San Antonio Spurs. Then we said they hit rock bottom when they lost to the Pistons after the Pistons had traded away their second best player. They hadn't even gotten Blake Griffin yet. And then they played a game against Houston, a Houston team, by the way, that earlier this year, when the Cavs were what kind of turned around the beginning of their season, actually. Remember, they started 5 of 7, and then they won 18 of 19. The loss mixed in there, or right before that, was a game in Houston that was played down to the wire, and it seemed like, oh, the Cavs, they have figured something out. Instead, they get absolutely obliterated. Chris Paul dominates the game from start to finish, and it felt like rock bottom. It felt like LeBron being as checked out over a prolonged stretch as I've seen him in his career. It confirmed for anyone that thought, oh, everything will be fixed once January ends. LeBron said the days don't matter, and he was right because this game was in February. So is this rock bottom? I mean, until the next one, right? I mean, they play tonight against Orlando, an Orlando team that I think has 16 wins on the year. They lose by 30 to them. That'll be the new rock bottom. I agree with Ty Lue. They're going to make the playoffs. But the way they have played since January 1st, if they were to continue playing like that, they would play themselves out of the playoffs. CC?
Wow.
Have they hit rock bottom? Well, I'm just going to tell you, don't build a house where they are right now. Okay? Because I just believe there will be monumental other things of depth which they will sink to. And this is going to get ugly, and this is not going to end well. This is all just tall tale signs of LeBron James leaving Cleveland for the second time. Now, this time won't be as bad because he did deliver a championship. But Daniel Gilbert and all the signs that people will start to understand, wow, I could see why LeBron is not going to opt into a finishing contract with the Cavaliers. No, this is going to get worse. All right? Kevin Love is going to be out for an extended period of time. I still don't believe, even with the trade, that they're going to be an elite team because Kevin Love's not going to be back yet. So even if they add another player or two, it's just a matter of scrambling around until I believe LeBron's going to leave. And I believe all these signs tell us that he's going to leave, but we just don't want to obviously look at them. They're not even championship level right now as from a competitive standpoint.
Right.
It's going to be interesting the next 3 days. I mean, they got a back-to-back. They play tonight, and they play tomorrow night. So watch. And don't build a house right here, Jenna. When we get to the end of the week, watch the kind of stories and the headlines we're going to have.
Because I was looking in Cleveland, but now that you said that, I probably will look elsewhere. So that's interesting what you said, that you don't think even adding a couple players will do much at this point. So you do believe that there's something they can do, or maybe you don't, but is there something happened at the deadline that will change your perception of the team, where they're going, the direction, anything?
I still believe the Cavs are going to play in the NBA Finals. As they play right now, they would have no shot to win those NBA Finals. In order for them to have a shot to win those NBA Finals, and for CeCe to believe they can even get there, I would imagine, they need one of the following two, or maybe both of the following two things to happen. They need to make a major trade, and they need Isaiah Thomas to start playing like an NBA player. The Cavs, since January, since Isaiah Thomas came back, have had the worst backcourt in the NBA. JR has struggled for a year and a half, and then Isaiah Thomas came in, and he's been worse than Jose Calderon. He's been worse than Derrick Rose, who was terrible. Since Christmas, they have the third worst net rating in basketball. That's not just defense. That's offense and defense combined. They've been a bad team. Go ahead,
Jenna, I got the trade for the Cavs.
Tell me.
You say Dan Gilbert is running the team now. He wants to be the puppet mouse. Jerry Jones-ish, right?
That's what he said. He wants to be the NBA's Jerry Jones, this clown.
Okay. When's the trade deadline?
February.
2 days from today.
Okay. I go to LeBron tomorrow to ask him, is he going to be in Cleveland?
You're Dan Gilbert.
I'm Dan Gilbert.
All right.
LeBron tells me, no, I can't give you that answer. I say then no problem, LeBron. I need you to
waive your no trade?
I need you to waive your no trade, and I'm getting ready to trade you. I would trade LeBron James 24 hours before the trade deadline. If he doesn't opt into the contract, I'm going to trade him. I'm going to take the phone and say, anybody want LeBron James? Give me your best offer, because that would leave the franchise in better shape in March than it's going to be now in June.
CC. So I don't think LeBron would waive his no trade, but let's assume he would. Let's assume he would say, you know what, I'll give you a list of teams that I would be fine going to for the end of the year. I know you dismissed the Carson Wentz potential trade. I will not dismiss this. I find that interesting. I think
because I'm not messing around like you. I don't come up with some old pie in the sky.
This is a little pie in the sky, because LeBron James, the idea that he's going to waive his no trade.
If I own the team, it's a legitimate option that people have not discussed.
Well, they haven't discussed it because LeBron has to consent to it. The reason they haven't discussed it is
conversation, though. And if I own the team, I got the power to be able to do that.
Say he chose, he could choose a couple teams.
Oh, I mean, you would choose Houston. He would choose
San Antonio.
San Antonio. The weird thing, though, and the reason I said Houston, but I hesitated a bit, would he want to go to a team, if he did waive his no trade, a team that he could sign to in the offseason that they wouldn't have to give up anything for? Like, weaken them for the years to come? Or would he just, like, here's the most interesting one. What about Milwaukee? Hey, Milwaukee, I'll play for you for 3 months. You give up Chris Middleton. I've thought about this, by the way. You give up Chris Middleton, you give up Jabari Parker, maybe Malcolm Brogdon. The salaries match up. Like I said, I've thought about this one. Then all of a sudden, him, Giannis, Eric Bledsoe, the guy you wanted to play with before, like, that's formidable. There are some options. Maybe, I mean, Kyrie probably wouldn't like it. Maybe Boston could make something happen. Like, there are some options. I don't think LeBron is going to allow himself to be traded, but it is interesting. I'm always for interesting, and it is interesting.
More bad to come. More big bad coming out of Cleveland.
Okay, well, I just looked while we were talking. There's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath in the south part of Cleveland that I'm going to look at.
$62 a month, Jenna.
Beautiful. I can afford that.
You got it.
Coming up, Vegas.